Welcome to a video that will describe easy ways that a small roastery can purchase coffee from UK importers. I will describe the various steps that you will go through and some of the things that you should take into account when communicating with a coffee trader. If you're new here, my name is James. I'm a Q grader based in Hull, East Yorkshire, working for my company, The Blending Room. I've been roasting coffee now since 2009 and started in coffee in 1999. So I've been around the block a little bit. On this channel, I will describe an awful lot to do with roasting, roast approach, technology, cupping, and I also do a weekly coffee release video as well. At the time of filming, this is August 2024, and what you'll find is that most companies, traders, exporters, farmers, etc. will now get in touch with you via social media. So as a small roastery, it's super important that you have one of these social media platform things. I hate this. I'm 43 and I'm useless at communication through social media platforms, but it is where most people get in contact nowadays. After you've received the message, I like to do a little bit of digging around the company that has made contact. I want to do some research on their social feeds. I want to see whether they have a website, and on that website, are there certain parts of their company that fit the mantra of my company. I like to know whether there is a Q grader within their team. I like to know whether there's a mission statement that suits or fits the vibe of my company. If I get some degree of positive feedback from this investigation, I'll then reach out to the trader and ask for an offer list. An offer list is a document that the trader will send you that will list out all of the coffees that they have on their portfolio. This may be coffees that are in store, landed within your country, UK for me, or maybe afloat, or maybe allocated in a coming harvest. As a small roastery, you're likely to be purchasing landed or spot coffee, so it's that part of the offer list that you should be focusing on. Now, I have a bunch of buying criteria as a roastery, and when I buy coffee, I buy in two buckets. Bucket number one is those that will suit my core coffee range, and bucket two is designed for the exploration side of coffee within my business and tends to be very much more focused in the retail part of my business. I will view the offer list through this lens, and I'll make sure that when I communicate back to the trader, that person will know exactly what my buying criteria are. And for me and my company, that must be a specialty grade coffee, so that's an 80 point or above coffee. But more focused, I have a buying floor of 82 points for my core coffees, and for everything else, the buying floor is 85. So each coffee has to hit a minimum of 85 SCA points to be invited into that part of my coffee portfolio. Once you've set out these criteria, you should then request samples from the trader, importer or exporter. These samples will arrive to you in two forms, green or roasted. I have a preference for roasted samples because it is a way of me being able to taste the expression or desired expression of that coffee from the person who's trying to sell to you. Their flavor descriptors will have been designed based on the profiles used to create those roasted samples, and as a first foray, I really like doing that. It also means that you don't necessarily have to purchase a sample roaster, albeit sample roasters today are much more accessible price-wise than they used to be when I started roasting coffee. Here's an example of a bunch of samples that I will have received as a small roaster. So what you'll have is lots of packets of coffee from various different importers or whomever has decided to send you these samples. The sample bags will have a descriptor of the coffee, the origin, farm name, cultivar, processing method, country of origin, and also a unique identifier as well. Once the samples are received, you should then go through your standard cupping protocol when assessing raw coffee. Now, I'm a Q grader and there are certain elements of what I would do when I'm cupping that may be focused on quantifying the grade. However, What I tend to do is when I'm first assessing a coffees, I will just cup my way through. I will make blind notes based on a blind selection, and I will see whether there's anything that sparks an interest from me, so much so that I may wish to purchase the coffee. Once I've run through a blind cupping and I've made plenty of notes based on the cupping table in front of me, I will then ascertain whether I'm going to buy any of those coffees. If I am, I will then convey back to the trader the coffees that I'm interested in to start opening a discussion based on its availability, the number of bags that are in store, and of course the price. Once you've signed off the type of coffee that you're interested in and you've conveyed that back to the trader, you may want to have a second set of samples so you can ratify the decision that you're about to make. You may also want to ask for as much information as you possibly can on that coffee, so its origin, cultivar, processing method, because all of that information will help you market that coffee to your customer base. After all this is done, you will then be able to contract a purchase either as a spot product or a forward contract and wait for the thing to arrive in your roastery. And there we have it, a brief overview of some of the processes that you can go through in order to purchase raw coffee in the UK if you're a small coffee roastery. I hope it's been useful. See you again next time.